Hello fellow soil stewards and garden guardians, welcome back to the Humus Heritage where we dig deep into the wisdom of the ages to cultivate better gardens today. If you've ever wondered how ancient civilizations managed to grow abundant food on steep mountainsides for centuries without modern fertilizers or irrigation systems, you're about to discover their remarkable secret. Today we're exploring the thousand-year soil trick hidden in ancient stone terraces, and more importantly, how you can harness this timeless wisdom in your own backyard. When you stand before the terraced mountainsides of Peru, the rice paddies cascading down Asian highlands, or the ancient agricultural systems of the Mediterranean, you're witnessing something extraordinary. These aren't just historical monuments, they're living proof that soil can remain productive for millennia when treated with intelligence and respect. While modern agricultural land often becomes depleted within mere decades of intensive use, these ancient systems continue producing abundant crops after 1,000 years or more. The secret wasn't synthetic fertilizers or industrial machinery. Instead, these cultures understood something fundamental about how soil, water, stone, and life interact to create lasting fertility. They built their agricultural systems around natural processes rather than fighting against them, and the results speak across centuries. The genius of ancient terraces begins with their ability to fundamentally reshape how water and soil behave on slopes. When rain falls on a steep hillside, gravity becomes the enemy of fertility. Water rushes downward, gathering speed and stripping away precious topsoil in sheets and rivulets. But when you interrupt that slope with level platforms held by stone walls, everything changes. Those stone barriers don't just hold back soil, they transform the entire hydrology of the landscape. The rushing water hits these level terraces and suddenly loses its erosive power, spreading out and slowing down dramatically. Instead of racing downhill and taking your soil with it, the water has time to sink deep into the earth where plant roots can access it weeks or even months later. This seemingly simple modification creates a cascade of benefits. The stone walls trap sediments that would otherwise wash away, gradually building deeper and richer soil behind each terrace over generations. Fine particles of clay and silt, along with organic matter from decomposing plant material, accumulate year after year. What might have started as a thin layer of soil on rocky slopes becomes deep, fertile beds capable of supporting demanding crops. In regions where rainfall is scarce or seasonal, this water retention becomes even more critical. The terraces function as natural reservoirs, storing moisture in the soil profile where it feeds crops through dry periods, sustaining perennial fruit trees and annual vegetables alike, without constant irrigation. The physical structure of terraces sets the stage, but the real magic happens at the microscopic level. The stable, protected environment behind those stone walls becomes a paradise for the billions of soil organisms that drive fertility. These aren't just random bacteria and fungi. They're complex communities that have evolved to work together in nutrient cycling, disease suppression, and plant support. The consistent moisture retained by terrace systems creates ideal conditions for these microbes to thrive. Unlike soil on exposed slopes that alternates between waterlogged and bone-dry, terrace soil maintains more stable moisture levels that allow microbial populations to establish and persist across seasons. These microbial communities perform the alchemy that transforms raw organic matter into plant-available nutrients. When crop residues, animal manures, or fallen leaves accumulate on terrace beds, legions of bacteria and fungi break down these complex materials into simple compounds that plant roots can absorb. But the microbial contribution goes even deeper. Many soil fungi, particularly mycorrhizal species, actually colonize plant roots and extend thread-like hyphae far into the soil, effectively expanding each plant's root system many-fold. These fungi don't just help plants access water and nutrients, they actively participate in weathering the minerals from the stone walls themselves, slowly dissolving iron, phosphorus, calcium, and other essential elements locked in rock and making them available for plant growth. Over centuries, this biological weathering contributes significantly to the deepening fertility of terrace soils. You don't need a mountainside to harness these principles. The core concepts translate beautifully to gardens of any size. Start by thinking about how water moves through your space. Even a flat yard has subtle slopes that channel water in particular directions. By creating small berms, swales, or raised beds arranged on contour, you can slow water down and encourage it to infiltrate rather than run off. If you have a sloped property, consider installing even modest terracing with timber, stone, or earth to create level growing areas that capture and hold both soil and moisture. Building soil organic matter should be your constant focus, just as ancient farmers incorporated crop residues, animal manures, and composted materials into their terrace beds. Create rich compost using diverse organic materials, including kitchen scraps, garden waste, and, if possible, animal manures. Layer these materials thoughtfully, alternating carbon-rich browns like dried leaves with nitrogen-rich greens like grass clippings. The ancient terra preta soils of the Amazon basin show us the extraordinary value of incorporating biochar into our beds. This stable form of carbon, created by burning organic material in low oxygen conditions, persists in soil for centuries while providing habitat for beneficial microbes and helping retain nutrients that might otherwise leach away. You can make simple biochar by charring woody prunings in a barrel with restricted airflow, then crushing and mixing the resulting charcoal into your compost before applying it to beds. Ancient farmers understood that controlling water was as important as building soil. Their sophisticated water harvesting and distribution systems ensured crops received consistent moisture while preventing erosion. You can adapt these strategies by mulching heavily to reduce evaporation and moderate soil temperature, creating the stable moisture conditions that microbes love. Consider installing simple water harvesting features like rain barrels or more ambitious swales that capture runoff and allow it to percolate slowly into planted areas. Even strategic placement of perennial plants can help slow water movement and build soil. Deep-rooted species planted at the top of slopes help break up compacted layers and create channels for water infiltration, while their leaf litter contributes organic matter year after year. When you begin applying these ancient principles, the changes extend far beyond simple harvest weights. Your garden becomes more resilient to drought as soil organic matter increases and your beds hold moisture more effectively. Plant health improves as robust microbial communities outcompete pathogens and provide better nutrition. You'll notice increased earthworm activity as conditions improve, and these natural tillers will help maintain soil structure without your effort. Beneficial insects find more habitat in the diverse, healthy ecosystem you're creating. Most importantly, you break free from the cycle of dependence on external inputs. Rather than constantly adding synthetic fertilizers to maintain productivity, you're building a self-sustaining system that actually improves over time. The ancient terrace builders weren't trying to feed just themselves, they were creating systems that would nourish their children's children for generations. That's the perspective shift these methods invite us to make. You're not just growing this year's tomatoes, you're building soil that will be richer and more productive next year and for decades to come. This week, choose one technique from this ancient playbook to implement. Perhaps you'll start a biochar project, redesign one bed to better capture water, or begin a more diverse composting system. Whatever you choose, you're taking the first step toward creating your own soil legacy. We'd love to hear about your journey toward building 1,000-year fertility. Share your experiences, challenges, and successes in the comments below. What ancient techniques are you trying? What results are you seeing? Let's build a community of gardeners committed to working with nature's timeless wisdom. And if you found this guide valuable, please subscribe to the Humus Heritage and share this video with fellow gardeners who are ready to transform their soil. Together, we're not just growing gardens, we're cultivating a sustainable future rooted in the profound wisdom of the past. Happy gardening, friends, and here's to the soil legacy you're building today.